Well, hey and welcome everybody. This is your virtual financial team prosperity Wednesday training, and I'm so excited to be here today. Today is May 20th, 2020, and I've put together a little presentation about something that's, one of my legs of marketing that I think could be a big leg of your marketing as well. So I'm excited to go over that today and share a little bit about what I've been having success with. It is definitely something that I've had a lot of questions come up about. So let me go ahead and pull up my presentation. I'm excited to go over it with everybody. So May 20th, 2020, it's kind of a weird time, Wednesday in the middle of the day, so I appreciate everybody that's here with us today live, as well as the people that are taking the time to listen to this recording. What I wanted to talk about today is driving people to the phone and building those positive bridges where you're not sure, what's going to happen on the other side of that call. And I really built the intro call out of necessity. Randomly sending links and following up forever was not an effective process for me. It proved to be really time consuming, and honestly, I'm just not that great at follow-up. So my conclusion really has been get people to the phone, because if you're like me, you're likable, and people want to get to know you. People want to get to know you first. They don't really care about what you do until they really, hear your voice and get to know you for a little bit. And I really honestly feel that if I made 100 cold calls a day, would I have 6 to 7 people who wanted to talk to me and genuinely wanted to take my call and made time to take my call? I think my time is better spent automating the process, and that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today. So I wanted to discuss the intro call and help call strategies and talk more about getting people on the phone. Like I said, until I talk to them, I don't really know how I'm going to add value to their life, right? How can I help them? How can I better their situation? How can we provide solutions to the problems if we have no idea what the problems are? So getting them on the phone, my first step to do that is just to add this sentence to every phrase. And I used to be real long, and I've chopped it, and I've chopped it, and I've chopped it until it's literally these 3 lines. If you want to schedule a quick intro call, please let me know your availability. Thanks, Alana. And whether I add that to an initial thanks for your connection call, congratulating them on a new role, on a promotion, on an anniversary, on finishing up university, or even if I'm thanking them for endorsing me, even if I'm telling them that I'm not interested in their thing, hi, I'm not looking for anything, but if you want to schedule a quick get-to-know-you call, let me know. Sure, I'm talking to this guy later today. So you don't have to be rude, but you could still want to talk to people and say, hey, I don't want to talk about your thing, but I still want to talk to you. I care about you as a person and want to get to know you better. So getting them on the phone by sending them a short, simple, relevant 3 to 4 line message is what's given me the most traction. And it's really just kind of an easy thing to do, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. These are all coming out of my alerts. They're going to tell me if this person got a new role or a work anniversary, they got a promotion, or they're finishing up school. I don't have to look for this stuff. It's in your alerts on LinkedIn already. So just make sure that if you're sending out messages, you're going in and you're following up on and responding to messages. The second thing is actually getting them scheduled, because one thing is sending, a bunch of messages. Another thing is actually getting them on the phone. So here's an example. This guy says, thanks for the congrats and reaching out. Yes, an intro call would be great. He's open Friday morning or next Tuesday. I'm always going to take their first available. I want to get this thing resolved. Why push it down later? So since he gave me something specific like a Friday morning, I looked to see what state he's in. I looked at my calendar. I gave him one time, Friday. How about 10 a.m. Central on Friday? And I did. I talked to him last Friday at 10 a.m. What's your best contact number for the call? He says, yes, Friday works. Here's my number. So great. Now, if it's a little bit more like not so concrete like a Friday morning, if he's like, oh, yeah, I'm open to an intro call, or sure, what is this about? Try to tell them, hey, I try to get to know my links and contacts better, so if you want to schedule a quick intro call, here's a link to my calendar. But the main thing, and probably the most important thing, is putting them on some kind of list so you don't forget to actually follow up with them. You've already done all this work by finding them, sending them a connection message. They've accepted the connection message. You've sent them an initial message. They've responded with saying, yeah, let's talk sometime. Get them on that follow-up list. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here's mine. You know, here's the one from the weekend. Once it gets too messy and I do another round of follow-ups, you see the ones become twos. And then once I follow up with them 3-4 times, I get them dumped, right? And it's a real easy follow-up. Like, you could see I rewrote them, and immediately this guy responded to a help message. These two said they're not interested. I started doing my help calls. I'm getting probably about, I don't know, 10% of the people want to do an intro call, and then 10% of the help calls are interested in the help messages too. So that together is like 20%. You know, I haven't done the third round of messages, but this is definitely something that you need to get your own system. Like, feel free to use my system. I just, you know, jot it down on a piece of paper. So if I'm not near the list, I'll just take a screenshot with my phone. I'll add it to the list later. Then I can delete the screenshot when I add it to the list. And this is my follow-up. Hey, I have some time tomorrow and Thursday afternoon if you want to let me know your availability for a quick call. I literally just went through a copy and pasted that to everybody. It took me like 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes. And then immediately I got a bunch of response. Yes, I'm interested. No, I'm not interested. Nobody's been rude. A few people have asked why. Let them know I want to get to know my LinkedIn contacts a little bit better. You know, and nobody ever argues with that. People love to talk about themselves. So anyways, keep it simple. Really, your intro call shouldn't be more than like 15 minutes. Usually it doesn't even take that long. Once in a while, you'll find that rare person that will talk about themselves for 15 minutes straight, and that's fine too. I'm really just trying to get to know them, so the more they talk about themselves, the better. So I take notes. And really, these conversations will let you know in 1 to 2 or 3 calls max, of course, unless they become a business partner or a client or a referral partner, you're going to get a resolution. So I don't even add them to my CRM until after the intro call goes well. Why am I just going to do data entry to dump them later? So, and then, of course, if they use my calendar link, all of that log is in there. So I can go through and pull all of their, you know, emails, phone numbers, all that later, maybe put them on a spreadsheet if I want to follow up later. So really, while they're talking, all I'm doing is just thinking about how can we help them and make their lives better? Is it our business or our business model? Is it our products? Maybe they have a large network that they can monetize easily. People don't even realize that they have a big following. Hey, great job on building that following. You're leaving money on the table by not introducing your network to what we're doing. You know, just think about how we can help them. Can they easily become a referral partner and make 65% as an inviter? And then lastly, if it's going nowhere, I ask them if they pay out of pocket for term insurance. Have they heard of term insurance or living benefits? If they're in the industry, I'll still ask them if they sell living benefits, do they have living benefits? You'd be surprised how many people in the industry have not heard about living benefits. And a lot of them maybe don't want to. Maybe their bread and butter is selling that standalone cancer, standalone disability, standalone, you know, critical illness, and, you know, they have to sell like 7 products to get one living benefits term that we offer. So a lot of the time they don't want to do that, but you're not going to know until you put it in front of them and find out, you know, what are they doing? You know, where are they going? Do they need help? And then flipping them to a client is much easier if they're not in the industry. And that's why I'm really trying to only connect with 20 to 25% max of actual insurance agents and people that are in financial services. I like to talk to self-employed. I like to talk to mortgage and real estate professionals. I like to talk to other professionals, but maybe aren't all in the insurance industry. Are they paying out of pocket for traditional term? If they are, what's the face amount? What kind of plan? How many years are left? What are they paying? Are they a smoker or non-smoker? How's their health? Great, good, fair, bad? Has their health changed since they got the plan? I want to know as much as possible. But all of this happens by getting them on the phone. So here's a few details about, you know, opening those conversations. Really, what I'm doing, and they don't even know it, is I'm pre-interviewing them on the front end. I'm sorting them. Are they going to be a possible recruit, client, referral partner, or maybe they're going to be a dump? even before they go into the CRM. And I'm building that rapport before I'm sending something out. So there's more of a chance that they're actually going to watch it because they're going to feel bad after they talk to me and took 15 minutes of my time not to follow through on something. And I'm telling you, I maybe only have like 5% no-shows to these intro calls. If they miss it, they're always apologetic. They get put on my list for a reschedule, and I would say 90% of them have been rescheduled. So people want to get you on the phone. They want to talk to you. So you really only need to follow up 1 to 3 times afterwards to fully resolve the lead or get them in the circle somehow. And my little phrase is, hi, it's Alana Amos from LinkedIn, trying to get to know my LinkedIn contacts a little bit better and seeing what people do, seeing if I can provide any value, see if there's any synergy there. Tell me a little bit about you. What do you do? And then I just take notes. That's it. I mean, it's a clumsy little sentence, but I want to know about them. And then, you know, I take notes, I ask follow-up questions. I'm showing interest in what they're saying as they're saying it. Great, what do you like, what do you not like about it? You know, what do you love, what do you not love about it? Or you sound like you're really passionate about that. That's fantastic. You know, trying to figure out where my value is going to be. If they hate what they're doing, well, there's that. Maybe they've been disrupted by COVID and they're not working right now and they're looking for something. You know, you don't know until you get them on the phone. You can't tell by their profile. Are they looking for additional streams of revenue, expanding their existing business? Like I said, if they have a big network, if they have a big book of business, are they leaving money on the table by not offering these products, these services to their existing book of business or their existing network? And then at that point, they usually stop and say, oh, wait, well, what do you do, right? Because now I'm coming in, I'm actually asking follow-up questions. And I tell them, you know, our cause is financial literacy. We teach people about how money works. We have a book that just released. We're reaching over 100 million people in the next 12 to 18 months. We're just really exploding. We're in need of top talent to fill different types of roles. We're also giving away a bunch of free services during this time. Do you want to look at some overview material? I mean, you know, follow-up is a big part of this because you've got to follow up all the way through until there's a resolution, no matter where it gets stuck. On the intro call, on the reschedule, on the follow-up through after they watch the videos. You know, I had a guy, really interested sports guy. He even talked to Mike. He had to talk to his wife. That was Friday. I put him on my, if I didn't hear from him on Monday, I was going to call him Tuesday, and I did. And he just got back to me today that they've had 3 deaths in the family since this weekend. And he's very interested. He'll get back to me next week. So if I never followed up, he could have easily forgotten with 3 funerals about this, you know, but he's on my list again to follow up next week, so I don't forget. He's also in the CRM with notes with a follow-up date. So, and it's a learned thing. You're not going to just be able to do it right away. I've let so many of these slip through the cracks that's why I have a list. That's why I do follow-ups for myself, and everybody's got their own systems. So anyways, I'm always following up. If there's no response to the initial intro call, I send a help call message about 10 days later. Again, I'm just trying to find solutions to their problems. So this is a little bit of what that looks like. This is an example of the last help call I was using. I help insurance agents make more money and get more leads. Do you need help with that? This person wants to know, how do I do it? I want to chat with her. Again, every question follows up with, let's get on the phone for a few minutes. So I got this person scheduled. At the time, she wasn't the right fit, but it's just a numbers game. Here's one from this week. You could see my help call has changed. And maybe I'm talking to a different audience. Maybe the times have changed. Hope you're doing well. I see that you're an insurance agent. I help insurance agents transition from traditional to virtual, and I've been doing so for years. Do you need help with that? This guy says possibly. He's doing Zoom conferences and e-apps when possible. He could always use tips. So I said, great, let's definitely chat. Here's a link, you know, to my calendar. This is because he didn't tell me I'm available tomorrow afternoon. If he did, I'd give him 1 or 2 times. Again, this was more of a broad, let's look at my calendar. There was no response, so I followed up because he was on my list. Hey, I have some time tomorrow and Thursday if you want to let me know your availability. You know, I still haven't heard from him, but he's on my list to follow up again next time I do my rounds in a day or 2. So if there's no reply on my first message, I go to the help message and then the how many works message. So here's what this looks like. Here's a guy connected with in April. Thanks for the connection. I'll look forward to getting to know you. If you want to schedule a quick intro call, please let me know your availability. No response for like a month. So then I send him my second message, my help message. I help insurance agents transition from traditional to virtual. Do you need help with that? And he says, I have no idea. You're welcome to explain. So I said, okay, let's chat for a few minutes. I'm not going to send him some long, drawn-out thing. It's not going to let him understand anything, just confuse him. I want to get him on the phone. So here's a link to my calendar, no response. So I followed up again with the same copy and paste. I have time tomorrow and Thursday afternoon if you want to let me know your availability for a quick intro call. This guy says, yeah, I have 2 teams. This is what he needs help with. One of his teams does life insurance. The other one does Medicare. He's definitely interested in learning about the marketing side of the business. He needs help with building a website, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, creating an online presence while staying within guidelines of advertisement. The other things he needs help with is appointment setting. He's free tomorrow. Yes, that works for me. That's later today. So the bottom line is, how many follow-ups did this take? Intro call, help call, follow-up 1, follow-up 2. This is four touches to this person. So you just never know, right? How are we going to add value? This is a great time. We're perfectly positioned. People need our help more now than ever. So go out there, be confident. Me and Mike are doing the company training all week this week. We did the company training yesterday. We're also going to be doing the consultant training Thursday and the company training Saturday as well. So I hope that you all find that useful. And that's pretty much what I have for today. I'm going to bring up Mike. I hope that you all got something out of it. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll keep you posted about updates on numbers and how that third follow-up message about how many works goes once I have those numbers. Thanks.
All right, team. Hope everybody's doing well. We want to go through some stuff today, as always, that'll help you build your business. So let's just hop right into it. Okay, so it's already May 20th. When we roll around to June, we'll have 7 months left. If I were you guys, I'm kind of looking at my business, with what's been going on with COVID-19 and the disruption and all of that, fallout economically that's been going on. I'm looking at June 1st through the rest of my year, and I'm looking to get a lot accomplished. I know that, when David posted that article in our group several weeks ago about, the adoption rate being sped up for disruption, probably 5 years, we're probably at 2025 now. If you look at where your business can be or should be or where you want it to be in the year 2030, I think you can get there in the next, 4.5 years or so. So understand where we're at and understand on a macro level, the adoption rate is speeding up. You've got to go out there and you've got to attack right now. And we've got a lot of different ways that we've been explaining to go out and do that in a very effective and easy way. First of all, just stop procrastinating. You'll see your life change. You'll see your money change. You'll see your business change when you just put all the excuses aside, stop procrastinating, get out of, like we talked about in the company meeting last night, that constant cycle of planning and preparing, but when it comes down to the performing, we tend to cycle back. Well, let's do some more planning. Let's do some more preparing, and that's just a form of procrastination. So today I'll take action. I'll do this and I'll do this knowing that it's got significant value for me on the front side and on the back side of my business. We talk about this. Just evaluate what's going on. What are you doing? What are you supposed to be doing? Are you actually doing that? What are you going to do about it? And what do you think is going to happen if you do that again? Whether good or bad, just ask yourself what's going on. Self-evaluation, self-inventory is very important because as an entrepreneur, you're the person that's really giving yourself those, those checkups and those evaluations. Yes, we do it as a managerial perspective in a way that tries to help you, but over and beyond, you're responsible for yourself. I always like to share stuff with you guys, and Craigslist I didn't touch for a long period of time, at least for a few years. When we first came in, I was running Craigslist ads, and I was getting normally 15, 20, as much as 30 resumes off an ad. That was years ago. Then what happened is the employment started to heat up. Unemployment rate went real low, and it was a tight labor market. So I just didn't do that. Well, I stuck my toe back in the water about a week or so ago, paid $35 to post in business management section of the jobs a Craigslist ad. It's well written, knows exactly what I'm looking for. I can tell you that's gotten one resume response, and it's outside of my persona. So when you have things that worked before and they don't work now, you have to evaluate. And what I pull out of this is, this can't be concrete with one job posting in Charlotte, North Carolina, but maybe Craigslist is past its day. I don't really go to this site for very much, and just a number of years ago, it was a huge site. Now it's still well trafficked, but Facebook and LinkedIn and all these things that are doing things on the employment, on the job, on the business opportunity side takes away from here. So you have to adapt. If things don't work anymore, just move on. Another thing that's probably going to come out of this crisis, guys, I don't think the independent insurance agent has much of a life left, because I think it's going to have to be housed into some type of infrastructure and not just go independently more. And that's just my opinion. It may take years to evolve, but I think the golden age of the independent insurance agent is gone. And I think when you look going forward, you've got to be able to talk to these people. Are you going to go at this alone? How much success are you going to possibly have? Don't you want a team behind you that can help you not only fill the things that you don't want to do, don't feel comfortable doing, but also can provide you with a roadmap, a pathway to get to where you actually want to go? An independent insurance agent has no exit strategy. They're just going to sell insurance till they die. Just basic stuff that we keep reinforcing on you guys as you're building your company and your organization. Make sure that people can do two things coming in, very basic things, but when you can't do these, it makes our company look really bad. So screen share, being able to get on a screen share, as well as host a screen share, and being able to initiate and connect a three-way call. Those have to be done pretty immediately. You're talking to somebody, and you can't connect a three-way call, you can't connect a screen share, and you put yourself out in the marketplace as a technology company, it's not going to fly very well in the eyes of your audience. So just remember that. Tuesday, Friday, every Tuesday, Friday, I don't care if you make $0, I don't care if you make $1, or make $10,000. You should be looking at your commission statements to understand how you get paid, understand how to read those, because once again, you only BS your way through this for so long. You start building the team, somebody's got questions about their commission, you have no idea what you're looking at, they're going to lose faith in your ability to lead them. Also, the IUL. I had some questions about the IUL this past week, and you want to look at the IUL. So when is the IUL appropriate? What is it good for? Well, that's based on the suitability factor. We don't just go in pushing a product on somebody without knowing really what they are. But the IUL, the cash value, can be used as an emergency fund. Obviously, the IUL has elements of protection, accumulation, estate preservation. So when you're looking at those 6 building blocks, 7 money milestones, when appropriate, with the right time horizon, suitability, all those things that we check, IUL, we call it the Swiss Army of financial services because it can help, before, after death. A lot of things can be incorporated in that one vehicle. Also, if you are running email campaigns, which I definitely suggest that you do, you have to learn from what you do. Just like if I start running a Craigslist ad and I get no response from it, I've got to learn from that stuff. Same thing with your GMAS. When you're running GMAS or you're running any type of email campaign, you got to see what's being opened, what's being clicked, so that you can understand what's effective in terms of your message and your format, and also for retargeting purposes, who's interested in the stuff that you're sending out, because if they are, send them more stuff or try to follow up with them. So don't just continue to send email campaigns without ever learning anything about the data that's coming back on the report. It's very important. The one thing that I cannot post on social media is any of the stuff that Julie does from Crump, all the annuity-based trainings that she does. Some of this is really good. Most of it is really good, actually, but I can't post it. So if you guys are ever in the situation where you want this material, you have a new partner coming in and want this material, just ask me. I do have the library. She's got some great sales techniques, language, as well as information about the products themselves. 12-week year, we just finished up. And really, 12-week year is a process. Some years, in quotation marks, are good. Some are bad. But the process of self-development is very, very important in a business like this where you're an entrepreneur and you're part of a leadership factory. So I just want to take just a quick minute to recognize Linda Mola, Wade Lassiter, Alana, David Chase, Corey Newmiller, Michael Eisbrenner, Larry Robinson, Terry Turner, Silas Lacey, Suzanne Shells, Demetra James, Floyd Black, Vlad Meltzer. Those are all people that completed the last year. And once again, it's a process. Just get better. Just keep learning. It requires you to take self-inventory and sometimes realize, hey, I'm not doing what I need to do, or I'm doing too much of what I don't necessarily need to do. And then from that point, you've got to make a change or you've got to make a decision. Are you going to make those changes and allow yourself to be more productive and accomplish more in that small window period of time, like the 12 weeks, than most do in traditional outlooks, which is an annual approach and an annual evaluation. The end goal is to master this program. And when you do so, you start to accomplish more in a quarter than most do in a year. And then if you compound that over a 36, 48-month period of time, you're crushing your competition. We'll take a couple-week break. We'll get back at it. I encourage you guys, if you're going to revisit this and redo it, to reread the book. You'll get more out of it. And if you're new, if you've never had an Audible account, we can get you a free copy of the book. It's well worth going through this, guys. Average doesn't pay, and that's why we keep talking about all of the stuff that we're trying to do and get ahead, both in terms of digital, technology, self-development, leadership development. Average doesn't pay, and that's going to be more and more and more in force going forward when you understand what type of a system we've created over the last 25, 30 years in this country and how to play that system to win versus how to not play it and end up losing. So self-discipline is the bridge. The 12-week year teaches us accountability. It teaches us time management. But when you look at our accountability and what you do, a lot of people coming in, if you haven't been accountable in your life before, A, you're probably missing out on a lot of accomplishments that you should have made by being committed and being accountable. People look at it as an alien concept, like, well, I've never heard of it, not going to do it. Or you're just too good, you're just too cool for accountability. Accountability will separate yourself. It'll give you a roadmap. It'll give you data. And once again, if you're making data-driven decisions instead of emotional ones, you come out ahead because most people in life do the latter. So that daily activity sheet, what goes in there, how to keep track of it, and how to report weekly, it's important. If you're going to lead a business, an organization, a division of this company, you need to set the tone in basically everything that you do. There's a daily activity sheet overview in the YouTube channel. It tells you exactly what we keep track of, why, how to report it. If you need to, go back and review that. And really, when you go to the YouTube channel, guys, when you log on to my channel, there's a little, not the main search for the entire YouTube channel, but there's a mini search inside my channel. And you would just look up daily activity sheet. It would pull it right up for you. We've been doing a lot over the past number of weeks that I think are really, really important to your growth in the digital marketplace in terms of social media platforms. So when we look at this, Alana and I have been handling, a week of the company trainings this year on a national level. Get into specific stuff like this, probably will eventually, but I'm trying to give our team a head start. May 6th was about really having great images, stories of transformations or successful outcomes well written in a way that provides a framework that gets people interested in what you're doing. And it was, on the backside of this, it was a concentration in how to approach Facebook advertising with that framework. Very next week, last week, we went through the complete LinkedIn algorithm, what it means, how to play it, what we should be doing to handle that so that we get what we're looking for. Remember, building an audience, engaging that audience, and selling that audience was the first week of our multi-week series. The engagement part is the heart of social media. Once you start getting engagement, you're going to start getting more visibility. And more visibility means more profile views, means more conversations coming up, and everything else starts to fall in place. And you separate yourself from the other marketers who are getting little to no traction. Really, it's all about just a 1, 2, 3-step process. So when you understand our business, it's not very hard. It's a marketing funnel. It's the tier 1 contact, and that can be a wide range of different things you're doing to open conversations. And if those conversations, when open, funnel down into something that is appropriate to go in the CRM, it goes in the CRM, and then we have outcomes from the follow-up. It's really simple, guys, and This is what we've been concentrating on for about the last 9 months or so, really how to open, continue, and direct conversations. Once you get good at all three, this becomes a very natural process, and you don't go in with any hidden agendas, any objectives other than let somebody talk, as Alana was telling you about, gather some information. If that leads to a problem or something they need from us, and we have a solution and an action step, great. Remember, in these conversations, we've developed it to take all the pressure off of you. I never go into an intro, a help, a how money works call really worried about the outcome, because I know that if I do what I need to do and concentrate on the activity, the outcome is what the outcome is. But I know that if I get stuck, and really, it's not even really about getting stuck, it's really about just the approach. Easiest way to transition is just to ask questions. And that's really what our approach is based on. Prospecting and recruiting are different. Prospecting is just getting to know people, talking to people, and from that, you build that rapport, trust, credibility that gets the information that leads to a problem, solution, action step. It's not hard, that pyramid, to follow, and once you master that, you're off to the races. Learning curve comes from the phone. So we talk about on all these calls, you want to get them scheduled, and then step 2 is to get the show rate moving up to a decent percentage, and the last thing is the presentation. Once you start to master those 3 steps, you control what we've been trying to do, which is taking conversations, taking audience from social media and getting them on the phone for one or more variable reasons. We talked about this, it was a few months ago, and I told you guys that I really wanted to work on the introduction message, the intro call, how money works, help, all of these things, and I wanted to work on getting us a percentage of 30% of the people who've accepted our connections within our persona that we're getting to the phone. Now, even Alana said that's high. A lot of you guys emailed me, said, I don't think that's possible. Well, we've got data to support what we're doing now. Really, message number 1 is running between about 6 to 10%. Message number 2 is paralleling that, about 6 to 10%. And then message number 3, you see a drop-off between 3 and 8%. So overall, right now, from the feedback that I'm getting, the data that I'm getting from myself, Alana, a few others that are helping me out, it's 15 to 28% total on the 3-message sequence. So we're not quite up to the upper end of 30. We'll get there. Now, how do you change, or how do you move from a lower section to a higher section? Follow exactly what Alana was telling, which is if somebody agrees to an intro call, they want to talk to you, and then you don't get anything back from them, and you just leave that alone, you're going to fall on the lower end of these percentages. If you follow up and get back in front of somebody and make sure that gets scheduled, you start to move to the upper end. And there's also some other things that you can do. You can improve your profile a little bit, or some other things that you can do to hopefully be one of the people that can get close to 30%. And then like Alana talked about, if I'm making 100 cold calls and I've got a 6, 7, 8% contact ratio, that's just people picking up the phone. They don't necessarily want to hear from me. These are people who are actually going to a calendar or agreeing upon a date. They're going to talk to you, and they're excited about doing so most of the time. So the intro message, the help message, the how money works, a value recurring message, whatever you want to do, just stay in front of people, separate the messages with enough time, keep up with the data, keep up with sheets like Alana told you to do, follow up, make sure you get this done. And if you can get to that 25 to 30% mark of new connections, getting on the phone within a trio sequence of messages, you're doing very well. That's going to be a nice pipeline. Remember, anything takes, no matter what you're doing, about 90 days to build that pipeline. It's all about the tier 1 contact. We're just pouring enough in the top of the circle, whether it be partner, whether it be client, we don't care. The front door of our business, we're going to open those doors, invite the right people in, keep the wrong people out, and let the system take care of the rest. So when we talk about the tier 1 contact, this was 60 days ago that this was posted. It might even be more than that now. I think this might be a little bit of an old screenshot. But you do have the tier 1 contact overview, and that basically just goes through the entirety: warm market, cold market, social media. How do I approach the front doors of my business? And the next week after that was a follow-up, framing conversations, closing language. It will help you. Like we always talk about, tell people what's going to happen. If you do, they appreciate it, and they're more likely to follow through and do exactly what you tell them to do, or give you some type of a reason why they can't, and that greatly helps you in that opening, continuing, and directing conversation. So once again, you go to the YouTube page and you're looking for this, you would just do a search for Framing Conversations, hit enter, it'll pull this up. I just talked about this, but this is a big difference in that we need to separate and understand why it makes a big difference. Prospecting and recruiting, not the same thing. This can be a relatively easy process if you do not force it. Selling insurance is hard. Selling insurance is real hard, guys. In this industry, as old as it is, with everybody in it, with everybody pushing products, it's really hard. You don't want to compete. Marketing solutions is a lot easier for you and the client, and solutions can come from the upfront financial literacy, how money works, etc. But once again, we're not selling product, we're marketing solutions, and those solutions can lead to product sales on the backside. Remember what you've got as far as partnerships. Remember how to put it together, and just go forward knowing that you've got a lot of things in place that are going to help you. You just have to provide, like we talked about in the company meeting last night, the human element of this process. We've been doing it for a while, so when you're out there, be confident. This may be, your partner's first week with us, but as a whole, we've been digging this out, implementing, testing it for a number of years, and we are now not testing, not implementing, but executing in the virtual world. 6 years in the virtual environment, digital environment, big deal, guys. So we're putting things together. We've got a great upfront mission, employee to entrepreneur, how money works, financial literacy, with our brand, our innovation, our disruption, what we do, why we do it. Combination of those two things combined with the WFG Transamerica platform, IMO, to absorb it, gives you guys an unbelievable opportunity to scale a business and not have to worry about how it gets absorbed. So remember, WealthWave, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago too, WealthWave provides the marketing, content, blog, all of these things that you want to push out into the public that we really didn't have before. You got access to at your fingertips now. Gives us some of our missions, E to E, how money works. So understand where WealthWave comes into the lineup, what it does for you, and what the partnership means. And once again, another Team Prosperity April 29th meeting. I went through the entirety recap of the triple threat, what WealthWave means, how to use it, why it's important. So once again, if you are putting all this stuff together and you have access to all this stuff to keep learning and developing, you should become basically a machine at some point and be unstoppable in this industry. It's a comprehensive marketing system that works well together. You guys have so many tools, not only on a company level, but from WealthWave, also from what we provide as a team. If some of us that have been around for a while had all this coming in, it would be an unbelievable upfront experience. We really had to just basically feel our way around with a loose group of assets. So understand, when somebody comes in, if they look at what we have and there's not an excitement level, it's not going to be enough to drive them. Having the vision, understanding what we're doing is not enough. They've got to have the motivation. They've got to have the excitement. If somebody doesn't get excited about all these tools, the leadership and the partnerships that we have, just not going to make a good fit. And automation. So when you're looking at some of the stuff that WealthWave can do for you, some of the tools that we implement, that we say that we use, if you're taking something that would normally be manual and you're automating it, you have a much better percentage chance possibility of staying in front of these people, because if it's up to you on a manual basis, there's going to be breaks and there might be permanent breaks, whereas an automation sequence will keep it going. Same thing with like a tool like Helper. If you got automation going, you don't have to spend 7-10 hours doing that manual per week. It frees the time up that can be reinvested into other things. So looking forward on your business, you want to automate as much as you possibly can. If you guys have books, or if you need books ordered out, of course you can do that, through the WealthWave system. You can advertise free books, but also howmoneyworks.vip. If you guys need it, there is a website you can send them to. They fill in their contact information, including who recommended them or who referred them, and we'll let you know and get the book out. For us to send out a book for you guys, book, postage, envelope, it's about $6 anywhere in the 50 states. It's just another marketing leg. So get it out there. It's a lead. It'll create sales. It'll create partners, but you're going to have to feel your way around, test a little bit of this, because like we always say, no matter if we're doing an intro call or a How Money Works book being sent out, it's all about the follow-up and making sure that you control and direct that conversation. If somebody's read the book, if they haven't read the book, that should not stop you from proceeding forward. There's 7 money milestones. The first one starts with financial education. That's what the book I gave you. The next 6 are, what's most important to you. Take control of the conversation, but also continue to show interest in their situation and helping them. Not going to go through all this. I just put it in here in case you guys want to look at it later and catch a screenshot. But this is like, some of the things that WealthWave's doing right now. Follow up after sharing the money with text like this, how we were on CNBC, just reinforcing what? That trust and credibility factor and that visibility in the marketplace. So once you send the book out, you've got all these ways that you can get, bridge that time from the book being sent out to the time it being received. You've got some stuff that you can send in the interim. You've got some follow-up stuff. Stay in front of people. Remember, this isn't going to be where you mail out a book and they're finished reading the book and they call you and say, okay, I'm ready to buy an IUL. It's not going to be the way it happens. You've got to make sure you follow up with these people, stay in front of these people, and make sure they understand this is a mission. We got free books. We got free services. My job is to help you. How can I help you? And once again, just sharing stuff, choice 1, choice 2. You got a lot of different verbiage in here, but it's really all about making sure people understand that they are in a situation, not necessarily all their fault. Schools didn't teach this. We're trying to change the trajectory going forward of people's financial lives and their financial stability. But there's a lot of different language that you can use. Find something that's consistent. Find something that you tested. Find something you're confident using. And then all the rest of the stuff that you have from the WealthWave, just back up the book, text, emails, invitations to learn more. People on the move, money on the move. So the more people you can get in front of, the more conversations you can open right now. And that's why we stress open conversations with no real clear agenda or objective other than gathering information so you can uncover those problems, offer solutions, and action steps. More conversations you open right now, more contacts you make, the more chance you're going to have of building a gigantic and dynamic business. Another thing you can talk about, people love giving their opinions. We're getting back in front of people. Remember, WealthWave has a ton of information. American Dream Report, $137,000. Does the person that you're talking to think that's an accurate figure? Do they think the American Dream is possible for them? Why or why not? Once again, you're getting somebody some upfront information, asking questions, and getting answers from them. Also, we have no idea what the stock market's going to do. It's been really bipolar. It had that big drop. It's had a huge bounce back. Not your job to go out there, and it's really a disservice to a potential client to say, the market's going to fall, or the market's going to go. We don't know what the market's going to do. Better ways to get in front of people and have conversations with them. Hey, do you trust Wall Street? Hey, do you trust what the stock market's doing right now? Do you feel like your money's safe? So don't make predictions. That's not what we're about. We're about making people think about different scenarios and how best to position themselves. We talked about this a number of weeks ago, but if you're just going to mail the books out, give the books out, and not really follow up and not really get that additional information in front of them, you might as well take that book and just throw it in the garbage. Nothing you're going to do is just going to create a streamline of events where everything's automated. I've emailed the book. They'll go to my site. They'll buy a policy. And that's just not going to work. It takes follow-up. It takes commitment. And it takes some type of a schedule that what somebody's supposed to receive at a certain point, and it's going through the motions. If you've done what you need to do and you can never get a hold of somebody after you send them the book, that's okay. But if you have not done what you need to do and you said, I've mailed out 30 books and I've gotten nothing from it, well, let's see what's happened during that time. And I guarantee you, what the shortfall or the roadblock is the follow-up. No matter what you're doing, whether you're sharing content, whether you're talking to people on the phone, whether you're following up about a book, it's all about talking about them and getting them either dreaming about this business opportunity, the possible positives that can come out of that, dreaming about a financial situation in the future where they have complete control of, where they've got guaranteed income, they've got tax advantages, whatever it is they want to do. Let people talk about themselves, show interest in other people, and that builds interest in what you're doing. We have a disruptive business model, and that also has to coincide with disruptive leadership and culture. We've got to work on building winning strategies. If things that you're doing are not working, and it's not working over a period of time, leading indicator says it's not going to work in the future. So you've got to kind of reroute and understand that, okay, what do I need to do? It goes back to a basic formula, and that's the 3. If I'm brand new, I'm trying to get 3 clients. I'm trying to get 3 qualified business partners on a monthly basis. What that's going to do is it's going to start to carve me out a little bit of market share, and then it's going to eventually, with my partner's help, carve out a lot of market share. But it all starts with that choice to come in by one person, their choice to have activity, their choice to set up goals, 3 clients, 3 partners, and that builds off. And eventually that builds off into the point you've got nationwide distribution. From that little immediate goal of 3 partners, 3 clients, eventually that's going to grow to nationwide distribution, and you're going to have one heck of a cash flow asset that continues to grow and pay you very well. You've got an assembly line. And the way that I look at the assembly line is marketers are inviters and financial professionals are consultants, or the bookends. They're making things happen on the upfront lead generation and the back-end sales. The manager in the middle is the builder. That person, he or she, has got to make sure people are in the right places, the right time, things are being done correctly, notes are flowing through. The manager is the builder. The manager is the orchestra conductor, making sure things are happening. So once you understand the assembly line and understand there are 3 roles, 2 are bookends that I call it, and 1 is the glue that kind of holds it together and builds it out further. You can easily start to put together offices based on bringing in marketers, bringing in professionals, and then bringing in people that are management trainees that are watching you, observing you, that you're working with, that can go out and take that office over at some point. A great tool for building an office in terms of somebody brand new, but also a great tool for overseeing your office as well as your portfolio of digital agencies is this right here. If I'm meeting with somebody and they're on working towards SVP, I want to see the sheet. If I'm working with somebody who's running an office, I want to see the sheet because that's going to tell us everything we need to know from a bird's eye view. A, is there growth in the business or agency? And then B, is there stuff falling through the cracks? Are people not being followed up with? Are clients not, getting stuff done and we're not following up to make sure that gets done? So from a client, a partner, and a managerial perspective, this has great values. And once again, there's an overview sheet in the YouTube channel. Just search Sprint Track Sheet. It'll pull right up. You've got to get people off to a fast start. Nobody likes sitting around watching nothing happen. Now, sometimes this can be traced back to their inability or just straight refusal to work. Nothing you can do with that. But if people are willing to work, remember, objects at rest, objects in motion. It'll stay at rest. It'll stay at motion. So give it that initial kickstart. Work with your partners. Getting them off to a fast start and creating motion in the agency is so important because that will continue once it's in motion. And understand that, yes, we can make a difference. We can help people and make money at the same time. That's all great, but you have to understand how to put it all together. And that's really where, digital business partners come together because we all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, and quite frankly, coming in, even if you're an industry veteran, you really don't know how our business works. We all have to put it together, and we all have to make sure that if we're in an innovative model, if our business model is based on innovation, then we also have to have a mindset of innovation. We can't just simply keep working, doing the same thing if it's not getting us results. So simply working hard is no longer the answer. That's an industrial kind of mentality. It's working on the right thing. It's working on the things that create smart work instead of hard work. And that's where you have to go out. And I'm not talking about a money investment. I'm talking about an investment into your personal brand, an investment into your visibility, an investment into your self-development. Your followers online, they're a valuable piece of advertising audience. You have to make sure, and we always talk about this, we've been doing a multi-week series, engagement still matters. You have to create content that will encourage engagement, and you have to advertise live events. So once you guys get a little bit more comfortable online, live events, it doesn't have to be a Hollywood production. I kind of shy away from this just because we have a special needs child and things are always kind of hectic at the household. But if you're doing live events, if you're doing something live, advertise it, go live, people love it. If you sit down and say, I have no idea what to post or what to do online, just follow what people put out. There's 70 killer content ideas to post on social media, 116 ideas for visual content, visual marketing, ideas for your biz. This is all stuff that you can just post on a daily basis. Other people that have been doing it well for a number of years, they send this stuff out, because what that's going to do, it's going to get traffic to their site, to their pages, by offering what we always talk about, valuable material that people are interested in. So pick this stuff up, study it, and learn what to post and why. Let me give you guys an example. We talked about the LinkedIn algorithm last week, and we talked about two main things that I took off the algorithm. Number one, has to stay in-house. Number two, has to create velocity. LinkedIn will reward you big time for both of those things. Let me talk about a post that got 81 views, pretty terrible, got 1 engagement. What happened? Well, when you're looking at posts, not only on your own, but just to get better at the algorithm, look at other people's posts. You know, is this going to be suppressed by the algorithm or accepted by the algorithm? So this took somebody off LinkedIn somewhere else. Big no-no. Didn't get any engagement at all. Now, this is something I posted 18 hours ago. It's a video uploaded directly to LinkedIn. It's got a lead in, kind of a storytelling. Entrepreneurship is anything but from a smooth ride. Expect bumps in the road. Every entrepreneur needs to remember these 5 things to make it through the rough patches. See more, requiring that I click. And when they click, got passions, persistence, resourcefulness, resiliency, adaptability. Remember, tough times do not last, but tough people, and in this case, tough entrepreneurs do. 3 hashtags, good to go. They got 17 engagement, 2 comments, 529 views, and still going. So understand, we're going to play the algorithm over the coming months as individuals, and we're going to play them as teammates, as small groups, to win this and get us visibility. You should be setting, if you have not already, set up your teammates in LinkedIn. So if somebody they have work experience as Virtual Financial and their work history and their first connections with you, you can add them as a teammate. And what that does, it prioritizes their stuff in the feed. So if I'm connected or my teammate is Alana or David Chase, once they post something, it's going to come through my notifications. And if they've done it correctly to the point that I should reward them, I'll like it, I'll comment, maybe I'll reshare. We get 10, 20, 30 people working on this together over the next 6 months. Watch what happens. So set up your teammates. If you have any questions, they're in My Network in your profile, and you just start setting them up. Also, one of the things I think that we should introduce and that we should allow is in our Facebook groups, if you've done a post, if you've written an article or you've done a post that abides by the algorithm that you think deserves visibility, go ahead and post it in LinkedIn and take the link from LinkedIn and immediately share in our group. You know, like I said, if it passes the litmus test, if it's in-house and it looks good and you're doing a good job, I'll go in there, and whoever else is in our Facebook group at that time will go in there and reward you. Once again, from the teammate section, from being able to post it in the group, we should, over the next 6 months, create a lot of engagement, a lot of visibility for our partners. One of the things that you guys can do right now, ever since Microsoft bought LinkedIn, it's changing. And just like Facebook, when it reaches scale, it's going to start still advertising space. You still have an organic opportunity. One of the things that you can do is get your LinkedIn profile away from a resume-like appearance into more of a network marketer, into more of a business owner. And now you've got all these great things from WealthWave and everything that you can include links, videos in there. I'll send out, or I'll post maybe in the Facebook group again, a step-by-step guide on how like network marketers and business owners and digital marketers get their LinkedIn profile looking to the point where it's got so many different ways that you can get people to other material that they can learn about you, learn about what you do, learn about why, and that might set up some additional conversation. Really what I would do if I were you guys is really sit down. What do you want your LinkedIn profile to look like? What do you want it to say about you? Why do you want it to do that? Create the outline, have that checklist, put it on paper first, and then either do it yourself or get somebody to help you. If your LinkedIn profile is going to be a main marketing asset for you, you better have it looking good, and you better have it with the things that other people who are finding success on this platform have. Create excitement. Create excitement in your conversations, create excitement in your profile, create excitement in your messages and your post. If we take LinkedIn and we say LinkedIn is our house, well, is this your LinkedIn profile up here? Is it just a terrible shack that's barely holding up? Or is it a nice looking house, but maybe your front yard looks terrible? Or is it a really nice looking house over here that you're proud of, but for example, in a real estate type of analogy, if you're putting this house for sale and you never listed on any online MLSP, you never put a for sale sign out in front of it, people don't know that's for sale. Same thing, if you've got a nice profile, if you've avoided this and you avoided this, you've got a decent profile, you need to also help people that land on that profile understand what you do to help those personas. If anything right now is holding you back, you got to do a self-inventory. And sometimes that can be a quick fix. Sometimes it can be a little bit more of an in-depth fix. But you got to ask yourself, if you're having the activity and no results, what's happening? If you're having little activity, why is that? But basically just do a self-evaluation, self-inventory. What's holding you back at this point from doing and achieving the things that you want? Because A, the 12-week year tells us you've got to create a vision that makes you jump up, gets motivated to do those activities and tactics that can lead you to your goals. B, you've got to understand what to do, what not to do. And then C, you've got to understand that if things aren't materializing for you, what's going on? Because there are other people in this company that are finding success. There are people in the industry finding success. There are people in digital marketing that are finding great success. So what's holding you back? Understand what it is, how to identify and alleviate those problems, free yourself up, because like I said, if you want to draw a line in the sand right now and talk about your business from if it's, if you're new or if you've been here around June 1st to the rest of the year, that 7-month period of time, I would like for us to try to accomplish what we would normally want to expect in an 18 to 24-month run. If you guys are working, we're more than willing to work with you to help you out achieve your goals. But like I said, one of the first things that we're going to want to know from you is what are you doing? If it's little to nothing, that's the issue.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was a fantastic training, and hope that you all got out of it as much as I did. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll open up the floor. Thanks so much.